Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna be testing live streaming. I've seen a couple people live streaming game development on YouTube and actually getting views, which normally never happens. So I thought I'd try it out again. And we're gonna be doing the most interesting thing ever. We're gonna be building keybinds. I know. Let's see. I've been working all day on graphic settings and I finally got it working. So now we can go borderless and windowed and full screen in the actual game itself, not just in the project settings, which is great. And I've had a little bit of debug information, but not a lot of extra stuff to the game. So the main thing with the keybinds, why it is quite difficult, is because we have to convert keybinds to JSON. Because I'm saving everything in JSON and keybinds are input events. So we have to translate that somehow. So it will just be a bit of data translation. Nothing really too complicated, it's just a lot of converting from JSON to a Godot resource. I already actually got the input manager working, but it's not in the current save system, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do, pass along that data. We're actually gonna start with our settings, our global settings. Which is just this. And let's get that settings menu in there. And all the way to input. And we're going to start with the mouse sensitivity because that is super easy. Oh shit, there's viewers. Hello, hello, hello everybody. Am I going to add NPCs to the games? Yes, of course. There's going to be some combat, so it's mainly just going to be flying and shooting enemies. There will be some friendly NPCs, but they will be mostly static, just for storytelling. You're welcome, you're welcome. Alright. So this one is going to need that slider. And the range should not be 100. I think 2 is best, stepping in 1.0. On the value changed, let's connect that to that input settings menu. Yeah, I don't have my YouTube studio open, I just have OBS open so I can see the chat, but I can't see if there's actually people watching and stuff. I really want to do tutorials on NPCs, like actually complicated NPCs and pathfinding. I've been playing around with pathfinding in 3D, and it's actually quite polished now in 4.2. But first I gotta learn it myself, so I'm gonna do it for the game and then make a tutorial. That's the structure I want to do this. So we're getting that value of that mouse slider. Let's actually keep track of it. We can actually straight pass it into that stored variable. I do have a graphics tablet, drawing tablet, but it's on another PC because my main PC is a laptop and it cannot handle that many monitors. Alright, so we're keeping track of that value. Then we're gonna need to update that to the file manager to store it in the system. Settings changed. Just emit that here. And then we can connect it up to the global settings menu, just like these two. No, we're not doing that here. We're doing that in the ready function. So we'll connect that to this settings changed function, which will automatically show the apply button. So we can actually test that. If we drag this mouse sensitivity slider, the apply button should show up. Yep. And then when we apply, we should store it to data. Right now you can see we're not actually changing the mouse sensitivity. It's because we haven't converted the data yet, which we're doing right here. So in here we're going to take that input menu settings data, input settings, yes. So now it should store it to file, I hope. Yeah, 4.2 implemented pop-up scripting menus. And I'm actually using a custom theme. It just makes the margins of everything a little smaller. So it just becomes a nicer way to use the pop-out menu. Because otherwise you get a secondary menu and it's like big ass margins on the side. It's not very pretty. Now when you apply that, it says it's being stored to file, and let's actually check the file on my system. To see if that is true. Where is it? Yeah, so that's being changed. That's actually also implemented in the player already. Scripts, player controller. And I want you on your ready function to get that mouse sense. What is it? Current setting data, yep, and then in input, and within there we have mouse sense. Cannot get input in base dictionary. Because it's input settings, not just input. Okay, I think it's working. This mouse sensitivity is insane. Oh, maybe it's not working. Oh, I'm not refreshing it. Oh, I'm gonna have to refresh at the runtime. Okay, we'll do that later, but if we reload, we should be able to refresh it. Yeah, so now it's low again. And a couple of things we're missing here is hot reloading, so the setting doesn't change unless you restart, and the slider doesn't update. So we'll do that first. The theme, yeah, I linked it on my Twitter and in my last video. If you go to my channel, just click the last video. It's on the top of the description. I can't remember his name. Some guy on Twitter that I'm following made it. But yeah, links to his GitHub page. He updates it as well. Can't talk, man. Okay, let's update the slider so it loads from file and loads into the slider. So we're taking the data from file and then we're updating the UI. This function doesn't exist yet because we're gonna write it right now. And all of this needs to move. Update UI. And all we're gonna do here is check our current data and put it into the UI. So we're gonna need a reference to that slider. And for this I need to pop my script back in there. Get a reference to that slider. And we can pop it out again. What should I call this? Mouse sense slider. Godot pet game? No, I haven't seen this yet. I'll check it out. I did think about trying MongoDB with Godot, and I actually saw a demo today of Firebase with Godot. But these API calls, they're doable nowadays, but they're not like competitive game ready. But you could definitely make some kind of idle game or a management game using like these types of databases. You could probably even do it with SQL databases. But I'm just waiting for W4 Games to release like their full multiplayer package. Should be any day now, and that will be a real game changer. So let's grab that mouse sense value from the file and apply it to the slider. So I'll put it all the way at the end, apply, exit out of the game, load it again. Perfect, so that's working. That was the easy part. Now we gotta get the keybinds working. Hello, turbo modus. How do I import my models? I just export them as GLTF. Is it what I exported as? GLBs. They're the best format for exporting to Godot. Materials come along. You don't have to do any material setup in the editor. And you don't have to have your whole Blender file in the editor. I think it's just a bit cleaner than like importing whole Blender files or going with OBJ and then having to import your materials separately, which is just a pain in the butt. Let's see. So I already did this input action manager for getting key events. I just have to translate it and I have to make it global. So it's not just within this scene, it's everywhere. So we are gonna need this. The keybinds list. And we are actually gonna need this. A lot of this old code we can use. I just have to swap out most of this. I think we'll see. We'll go along and we'll see. Hello, Mr. Rabbit. Yeah, I export my Blender files into GLBs. FBX works as well, I think. Does your material come along in FBX? Or do you have to export your material separately? I make my game maps all in Blender. It's actually really easy. There's a built-in first-person controller in Blender. And you can like assign its height. So you set its height to your player character in Godot. And then you just build out scenes in Blender. And they automatically have collision maps and you can just walk around in there and see how the spaces feel. It's a super fast workflow for getting spaces right. Yeah, GLB is also recommended by the engine itself if you look in the documentation, I believe. Alright, so we have to populate this keybinds list. There's this secondary list of all these keybinds. And I have this separate component somewhere here, which is just one keybind. And what we're gonna do is clear out this list, remove everything, and then put everything back in, but with the right keybinds that we stored in the system. So when you change your keybinds, it's stored and it's reloaded. And you don't have to change it every time you boot up the game, because that would be stupid. And these are the binds we want to put in there. With their action names and their readable names, so that should all be fine. And we'll do this in the ready function. No, we won't. We'll do it in the update UI function. Populate the keybinds menu. Populate keybinds menu. Wow. And then we'll just list through these. So we'll go for every action in action names. We'll create a new keybind. What do we call it? Component. And we'll use that scene. That instantiates. And then we'll go keybinds list. Add child. And we'll add that keybind component. And now there are going to be a lot of jump functions. I just want to see it. Texture painting and model painting, yeah, I just do it manually. I like unwrap my models and then paint them in Krita and then re-import them back. I know Substance Painter and what were you saying? Armor Painter. They're great. They're great for texturing models, but I like all my software open source and manageable. And if I want to use Substance Painter, I would have to pay a lot of money, and I don't like it because it's not open source. And Armor Painter, I just haven't had any luck with. So maybe one day. What was I testing? Oh yeah. So the new commands are coming in, but we're forgetting the spacers, and it's not empty first. So let's clear it out first. Actually, I already did this. I should just copy code here. Here. That clears out the bind list. And I also already have a thing for making separators. Yup. That just creates a separator, those little lines here, and adds them in. And now I have to rewrite this input action. Oh yeah, I did the naming wrong here. Did I do the naming wrong? Don't remember why I deleted all this code or commented it all out, but we'll see. Let's just take this back. Don't need this right now. Don't need that signal. Set name and set action, that's all you want, right? Yeah, and we still... Yeah, I think so. Set action name, set action, remember that. Set action, action, keybind component, that's set action name. Action names.action. Let's see it. Oh, lots of comments. My materials don't load for some reason. All my materials are white. And what version you're exporting to GLB and your materials are not loading? If you're using like the shader editor or the material editor in Blender, it won't work. It needs to be like a very basic material. You can't have any color ramps or like heavy computing within Blender. It will not process over to Godot. So the names are working, but the actions are not right. And I know why. Because those are the action names from right here. And we need to get the actual key. Which I also already did. I should just be copying all this code, man. But it broke for some reason and I want to fix it and I want to do it right, so I won't be copying everything. Input map.load from project settings, yes. Definitely want that. And then there's somewhere a string. But where? But where? But where? But where? Was I doing that in Action Manager? Nope, definitely not. No, I didn't make my own dictionary for key inputs. I made... basically how I'm gonna do it, there's a lot of keybinds in Godot, like a lot of the built-in ones. And I don't want to be able to rebind all of those. So I made a custom dictionary of just the ones I want to rebind. And then from that I'm loading the input map values and changing them if I want to change them. But if I just go full like pulling from the project settings and then loading into my game, all these other ones will show up. That's what I did before. You get all these UI and you don't want that. You don't want all of those in the input manager. So that's why there's a dictionary, to just filter out the ones that I want. This, yes, yes. So I want to get that keybind string, and it's going to be equal to nothing right now, because first I got to get that input map. Get action events based on the action, yes, yes. And we'll just save our events, and then we'll go if events, if there is an event, there always will be event, otherwise the game is broken. Then we'll just go events dot 0 as string, I believe. Is that how I did it last time? As text. Same thing. MILF Hunter 69 with the $2 donation. Oh my god. Oh my god. Love your videos, bro. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe my first donation is from MILF Hunter 69. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see. Nope, that was not it. Oh no, I'm just not setting it. Yes, that's what I want. So now we got the keys. That's a good start. I don't like how it says physical everywhere, but we'll fix that later. First, we're gonna re-implement the logic for rebinding them. And that's where I went wrong last time, and why I copied out all this code, commented out all this code. Because I did it in the input action, and it shouldn't be in the input action, it should be in the manager, right? Yes. I've been wanting to make a simple local multiplayer and be able to store the player data in an SQL database. Please help me where to start. Yeah, so you could, you definitely could. It will be very slow. But I think Godot just has an API request, right? You can just make HTML requests all the time, request everybody's location and send out your own location. Just update it like that. Will I make all my materials by hand? Yes, yes I will. And I already regretted that decision, because it's gonna take a lot of time. But it is quite a satisfying process, so I'm not too mad about it. Is remapping. This is gonna be the boolean that is true when we're waiting for a key input. And then we're waiting for that key input, and it can be a regular key input or a mouse button. And then we're going to set the action of the current action that we want to change. And so this can be commented out, because first we got to be able to tell which one we're changing, which we're going to do with a signal. Is changing equals, oh no, it's just a signal. Are we going to do it with a signal? Are we gonna do it with a signal? I'm making a game about restoring a spaceship, and it's in its very early stages. We're still working on menus and saving data and setting up a bunch of stuff. But I have a video on my channel on what the project is gonna be. It's quite an ambitious plan, but I'm confident. I'm confident I'll be able to fix it. If we're going to do it with a signal from each action up to the settings menu, we're going to have to keep track of every single keybind. Is that what we want? we could just pass it along an ID and then retrieve that ID. And then we actually don't need to do this. We can just go or we could totally just pass along the action. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Or the action name. And then just compare it to the dictionary and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I also scream when I change my file system mid-development. Actually, I've only managed to break Godot once by changing the file system, and it's really only if you're changing the file system from within Windows. If you're changing stuff around in the editor, in my experience, it usually doesn't break. But I know people who have like ruined complete projects by just moving stuff around in Godot. What were we doing? We were creating a new function called changing key. We were creating it right here. Changing key, and we're passing it the action name. It's not perfect, but we'll do. Yeah, so we're just gonna go for action. If action names dot action is equal to the action name, means we're currently reconfiguring this button. And we'll keep track of that index. No, we actually don't. We can just reference that name. Oh, that's how we're gonna do it. Yes, yes, yes. So is remapping and var action name remapping equals nothing. We're gonna set it right here. Equals action name. And let me just print that. I doubt that it's gonna work first try. And we just have to pass this. You want to take photos and convert them to materials. Well, that's very possible. You should check out Ian Hubert's tutorials. It's basically all he does. And he makes amazing models using that technique. Godot 4.2.1 crashes all the time for you. It's never crashed for me yet. What operating system are you running? Okay, so that's working. We are getting the right names. It's kind of stupid that we're doing it by name, but fine. Oh, that's perfect actually. You know what? It's perfect. Because we can just say here, press a key. And we never have to talk to that action again, because we're just gonna reload the whole UI. Ian Howard, yes, yes, yes. On Windows 10, really? Settings. Oh, not there. Perfect, perfect. And does it matter that we can do them all at once? No, because then it's just going to be mouse click. Which is also not what you want, but at least it will be clear to the user. Okay, so now we're remapping. Remap text is showing. And now we're listening for a key. Yes. So is remapping equals true. So we're listening for that key. And when we get a key, we are checking all our actions and comparing it to the current action name that we're remapping, and then we're setting the text. Is that what we're doing? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think so. For action and action name, if action name action is equal to action name remapping, then action oh, we can't change a key value. No, we can, but it's complicated. I'm rewriting this piece of code because I did it bad the last time and now I'm doing it bad again, which is not great. But I'll first just get it working and then we'll clean it up. No, I never stream on YouTube. This is my testing stream. That's why I'm not doing something very interesting. I'm just testing to see if people show up, if it's viable. Sleep well, the Phoenix guy. See you later. Yeah, dealing with responsiveness and resolution scaling and UI scaling, it's gonna be quite a hassle. But for now, I'm testing at 720p, 1080 and 2K, and so far everything is working. This code looks so bad. All that old code needs to get out of here. And so we're going to be erasing all the actions from the action, yes. Then we're going to be adding the action, yes. Which is going to be this event. And I think that's working, but then we just need to update UI. Okay, it's allowing me to remap the keys once. That's not right. And why is that? We are calling that. We are changing the action. Is it the right action? No, it's not. It's definitely not. Why is it just move right after that first try? What am I breaking here? So, this is emitting its own action name. Is it because I'm removing all these components while they're still connected? I'll just keep track of an array of all these components and sample it from there. Easier, right? Yes. So now we got this awesome list of all those keybind components. And then when we change one, we can just get it by index. Let's actually look how that looks. Let's see how that looks. Where's my remote? For some reason it's never updating. Alright, I'm just gonna walk through it. Populate the bind keys, yes, 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 yes. Set up that array, clear the bind keys list, yes. Load from project, yes. It's very important, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Then for every action in the action name, yep. Set up a new keybind component. get the event from the input map. Yes. Convert that to a string. Yes. Then set the name and set the action in the component. Yes, that's right. Add it to the keybinds list. Add it to the components list. Connect that signal. And add the separator. So that's alright. And when we connected that signal, it goes into here, passing along its action name, where we set the remapping equal to that action name. Yeah, but that's not happening. Because if we print here, action name, move backwards, that's right. Move backwards, move backwards, move backwards, move backwards. It's only happening once. Only on the first time the UI loads, the signals connect. And after that, no more connection. But why? But why? I think it's because we're removing all these keybinds and then adding them back in again all the time. I think Godot doesn't like it. So what we'll do is we'll only do it once. Which means it will be a lot more work to update the UI. But I think my signals will not break. I love Godot. Me too, Raven. Oh, I missed a lot. Damn. Let's see. Your stream popped up on my YouTube recommended while animating, so I figured I'd pop in. Hello. Thank you for popping in. Hi there, Sketchy Scroll. Code Performance, this is your plant game. There's no plant yet. There will be a plant, but it's not all about plants. Because God loves to watch us suffer. That might be true. Yes, no comment. Is Godot good for 3D? Yes. I've only done 3D projects so far in Godot. I've done one 2D project. It was actually a lot of fun, but I prefer 3D. It's perfect. Kamikaze, love your vids, man. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Okay, so now they're all staying connected, which is good. But now we have this press key problem that we have to reset. And that's why we're keeping track of that component list. Right there. So when we're remapping, right here. Right here. We can just keep track of an index. And we can increment that index. Oh. And then when we find the right one, we can just go into that component with that index. And we go set action, and we'll set it equal to event.asText. That should fix all my problems. Ah! Set action is a function. It did not fix all my problems. but we'll try again. We'll try again. Yeah. Okay, so we can constantly remap our buttons. And everything is being remapped to left mouse button, but this is an improvement. Because that just means we're not setting this is remapping to false. And we don't actually need to update that UI anymore. Oh, it's beautiful. Let's test it in game. Move forward the BB mouse button. It's working. I know you can't see it, but I'm walking by clicking. Now A is forward and sidewards. Oh, that's very confusing. But the good thing is it is working. So the remapping is working. This is a very ugly piece of code. I hate this index, but we'll keep it for now. We'll keep it for now. All we want to do now is actually store those keybinds in here as JSON. And that's actually going to be the most problematic part, because we have to convert this. I'll actually show you the event. It's a Godot resource. Here, this input event mouse button index mod none pressed true false cancelled false position blah 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 blah. We have to store this in JSON, but we also have to store that in JSON. So it can either be a mouse button event or a key event, and notice their properties are very different. And we have to store them in the same space and make sure that when we read them out, they get processed appropriately. So they're either mouse button or key button, and we don't mix them up or anything. So that's going to be the next challenge. Actually, it's not really that hard, right? I just have to differentiate between mouse button and key button, then pass along all this. We don't actually need a position. We don't need double click. We don't need cancelled. I'm not sure if you need mods. I don't think we need physical here. You might just need a key code and a button index, and whether it's a mouse button or an input event, input key event. Let's see what the defaults are. For our test key event, we're going to create our own key event, just like somebody pressed a button, only we're going to do it with code. Input event key. Can we just do that? And then we'll print out our test key events so we can compare them here in the console. Key code, set key code. Thank you. Thanks, yeah, the art style is very low poly. And the textures are actually also not that high resolution. But it really works when you put it all together with the shader. I think it makes the whole scene look very stylized. It's exactly what I want. It's gonna be a lot of work though, setting up large spaces like this. Because everything is hand textured, of course. I'm gonna have to Google how to create input events. 1 second. I'll let you look at fans. No, that's not how I want. Saving key. That's what I want. And then we can set the key code. I think we can just set the key code in. Yeah, so all these mod, physical, pressed, echo don't matter. This is our own custom event, and this is the one we're getting from the actual input. So that's very easy. Let's try the same for a mouse input. Input event. Oh. Mouse button. Not new. And then we want to set the button index. Let's compare those again. So it is applying the button mask. I'm not sure if that's important. To the documentation. There's no mention of the button mask in the documentation. That's great. That's great. Wait, I lost the chat. Are you guys still here? I could save the resource file, but I want to keep all my data as JSON files because I want to share it between systems. So you boot up the game somewhere, and using Steam you can like share settings. So I want it to be this one compact JSON file that loads in all the settings instantly. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but that's how I want to do it. So we know that works. Now we just need to store that in those keybinds and load it back out again. So let's create a function for that, for creating that array. call it translate keybinds because we're translating from this event to JSON. Is that right? Yeah, we are. Okay. So we're just going to run that same for loop again, running through all the action names. And we're going to need that. We're not going to do it as a string. I'm just going to be printing out these events to see what they look like. And I'll just spit it out on changing key for now. The key code for shift is 4 million. There's no way. The key code for shift is 4 million? Whatever. So yeah, they're just exactly the same. That's comforting. So we can actually connect that logic already. We have this signal settings changed, which we can add in here. So then in the settings menu, that apply button is going to show up. And when we press that apply button, I'm going to run update and store data. And then here we're going to need to translate. Yes, 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 yes. I gotta translate, right? Hello, Evan Stevens. Is this GDScript? Yes, it is GDScript. How did you learn coding? I started very early in ActionScript, and I've been working in web development for a little bit, so JavaScript mostly, front end. And I've always just been making games on the side. I did a lot of Unity, and then switched over to Godot early last year, February last year. Started GDScript, which apparently is very similar to Python, which I never wrote. But yeah, so that's, if you have experience with Python, that's a great way to start. Okay, so that's working. We're getting all those key codes. Let's actually set one to a mouse button. Okay, so let's invent a format for these keybinds. We'll store them as arrays, and all they need, it's just 2 values. I'm way overcomplicating this. So all we're basically doing is we're asking if key event is an input event mouse button, then we'll say, just for testing, we'll print out this is a mouse button, and if event equals a key, then we'll say This is a key. Yep, that's working. So let's create those variables. All they need is a type. So whether they're a mouse button or a keyboard button, and they'll need a key code, which we'll also use for the mouse button. It's not completely correct, but that doesn't matter. And in here we can say the type. Button index, is that what it was? Yeah. Get button index. And for key it was get key code, right? Yes. Yeah, I just prefer JSON because my history in web development, and I think everything should just use JSON. It's also great if you're using JSON for your game for, like, I don't know, dialogue or other data. You can very easily write your own third-party software to take in that JSON and edit like dialogue or stage layouts or item settings in your own third-party software. It's like this very universal data type. I love it. And this is broken because we need here this one, not just yeah. And we're only setting that type here. Because it's 0 by default. And then we'll create an array for all those keybinds, push it to the end. And then we can just set that keybind, yeah. That's gonna need to be an array. I've gotta change that everywhere. 1 second. Settings manager. And then I can just put it in there. So here I can, oh, not in here, sorry. So here I'm translating my keybinds to these little objects, then to these little dictionaries, passing all those dictionaries into an array, and then passing that array onto the file manager to store on disk. And then we're going to do this action in reverse to load them out, and then we should have keybinds done. if everything works. So in here we can go input settings, keybinds, don't know where I'm doing it like that, but it's fine. Equals keybinds, and then in the settings menu take those input settings and store them to disk. So right now they should store. Let's check that out. Let's actually check the file on disk to see if they actually did store. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Rain. Chef Games. No, I'm actually just at the start of the game. I'm doing settings first. Settings and saving and all that stuff first, so I can build my game on that foundation and don't have to go back and like inject it into old code. I'm doing it by the books this time. Yeah, looks all good on disk. And now we just have to do that backwards. And we're gonna do it backwards right here. This is my global settings function. This runs above every script, and this is what's actually keeping track of all the settings. And this one is going to apply those keybinds. So we're going to check that current settings data. I'm going to go input that into that input settings. Into keybinds. Oh, but we need the layout of the menu. It's bound to the layout of the menu. I have to store that. Wait. So I'm just storing keybinds right now, but I'm not actually storing the action with it. So we need to store those actions. Is that a problem? No. No, there's no problem. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yes, I'm storing the actions as well. Perfect. So now we can just take this little piece of code and we should be able to first get that action. So we'll erase all the keybinds currently to the action. And then we're going to create that action based on here. So if the keybind type equals 0, then we're going to say var mouse button event equals event mouse button dot new, and then we're gonna mouse button event dot set button index. I'm gonna set it to that keybind. Yeah, the text editor is lagging like crazy all of a sudden. I think it's because I'm live streaming. Maybe it's because it's a pop-out window. Oh, that is a lot better actually. Keybind, what was it again? Keycode. We're gonna do almost the same here. Oh, this is so much better. Screw the pop-out text editor. It looks nice, but it's terrible. Action is clearly not declared in scope. Yes, I know. And here it's gonna be an input event key. Okay, this might work. Nope. Key code is not stored in... How am I storing it? With an underscore. Great, 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 great. I think it's one word. I just messed it up. Yeah, it might be because the viewport was in the background. You're right. Why the editor was lagging. Let's remap everything to space and then save it, and then we'll exit the game and we'll load back in the game. And now oh wait. Nope. So what's going wrong here? Let's run through the code. Where's my input menu? So we are passing it that input settings. And then we are storing that to disk, right? So every button in here should be space. Yeah. So everything is 32. So on the file, everything is mapped to space. But then when the project loads up, it's back to the original keybinds. So let's look at it from a loading perspective. The file gets loaded. Let's check this data. This is the file getting loaded. This is from disk. This data should be the data from disk. Yeah, so in there everything is still bound to space. Then it goes to apply settings. And it reads out all those keybinds. this is a global skeleton thingy. This is my settings manager, which is coming from the file system. So this gets loaded at the beginning. So I'm just gonna double check here. Yeah, so they're all 32 on file. They all get 32 loaded in here. And then for some reason, when this input manager loads up that input map, it's probably because this one's running first. That's annoying. Well, that's fine. We'll just move loading those settings to the settings menu. Just set the data first and then update the UI. And it's not possible. It's not possible that this is not all space right now. On file, it's all space. On file, it's all space. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Then in here it's no longer all space. It's because the project settings okay, I don't think that's a problem. What it's doing, why it's messing up, is it's loading these one in. So that these are the default inputs, and every time the project runs, these are what the inputs are set as, and then I'm trying to override them before the menu tries to request the keys for the menu. That doesn't make any sense, I know. Let me try to explain better. The project is loaded with these inputs, and then this menu takes these inputs from the project settings and loads them into the UI. It's a little keybind menu. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reprogram this input map before the menu loads the keybinds. But that's not working because it's just too fast, or this is too slow, I don't know. Maybe I need to await this, but it doesn't matter because we have it saved to disk, so we can just read it out from disk. And before we do that, I'm gonna take a quick toilet break and I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay, I've decided that I'm not happy with this solution. So I'm probably gonna have to rebuild it. But I am gonna make it work first. And then I'll just optimize it. I don't need any of this anymore. Yes. Yes. So, we are getting the keybinds, if I'm right. Let's just make sure that we are actually getting the right keybinds. So I'm just gonna print that array. Yes, they're all space. Perfect. Oh, but I'm gonna have to do the same translation function here. Okay, this is really not a pretty solution. Okay, that fixed it. I was loading from project settings here, which is right here, which is what I don't want to do. I was loading from file. And then I was overriding it right before populating that keybinds menu. Okay, so it is working. I'm just a little stupid. It is gonna cause one problem though, which is when you first boot up the game and you don't have a global settings file, these keybinds will not be set up automatically. So I'm now gonna have to store them on the first run. Yes. Let's do that. So then I'm gonna need them from the project settings. Then I'm just gonna print them out. Oh. So that should be the default settings for every action. That's perfect, and then I'll just put them in the default settings. So now when I pretend I just installed the game and I don't have a global settings file, delete the global settings file. I run the game for the first time. The system creates the global settings file and then the keybinds are set automatically. Oh wait, I'm not actually testing it. Because I'm loading from project settings again. Yes. Perfect. Alright, let's test it in game. Let's remap everything. WASD is not working. My new awesome TFG H keybinds are working. M is jump, yes. X is sprint. Perfect. Alright, so it's working, but it's ugly again. Can I clean this up? Hello, Lenvo. Print is more than fine for keybinding scenarios. What are we talking about? Breakpoints. Yeah, I know there are better ways of debugging, but print is just so easy and quick, and we're not working with very complicated data yet. But yeah, of course, using breakpoints and actually having error logs and stuff is way preferred. But when you're dealing with very basic data like this, I think printing is just fine. Hello, hello. Okay, so what didn't I like about this setup? This is actually fine. How I'm applying keybinds. I'm not mad at that. I am mad at this part, where I'm looping through action names to find the action that I'm remapping. In order to optimize that, I'm gonna need the action instead of the action name. Why aren't I just kept passing the action? Because the input action doesn't know the action. That's right. It just has the stringified version of the action. So I'm gonna need to pass these input actions their actual action. Is that right? Because then I'm just gonna have an action and I can just go action in there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's pass them their action name. Yeah, and that's also just the wrong namespace. This is not an action. What I'm sending right here is, let's actually look at it. So that's the event name. Actually, it's the input event name, but we'll just call it input event. And this is not the action name, it's the input event as string. And this is actually going to event the action, which we're also going to keep track of, which is nothing at the start. And then we're going to set action here. So then that can just pass the action. Why is this mad? Yeah, you don't need to keep track of that anymore. Alright, and then in input settings, we're not setting the action, we're setting the input event. Yeah, that's right. And we are setting the action name. And then we're also setting the keybind. Component.set action, and we're actually setting that to the action. Like that. And now right here it just returns an action. So no longer action name. It's just action remapping. Action remapping. And then we don't need this for loop anymore with the disgusting index. And we can just go remove all that. Oh, but we do need it there. No. No, 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 no. We do need it there. Because we don't have a reference to the component anymore after we remapped. We're just gonna have a reference to the action. Ugh. That's disgusting. Yeah, this is going to be a first-person game. Still talking about... Oh, no, it's the same comment. Sorry. Okay, so... Now we're going to eliminate this. We're going to need to keep track of that keybind component. That's actually no problem. Can we pass these two variables? Uh-oh. I changed a lot of code. Let's see. That's no longer action name, that's just action. And apparently I'm passing it the wrong thing, so let's check what I'm passing it. So at first I'm passing it the right thing, and then I'm messing it up somewhere. Let's see where I'm messing it up. Right here. Okay, so that's all working. Only this part's not working. Oh. Why are you returning nothing? You are not returning nothing. Ah. That's pretty good. They're working. I am only not getting the apply button anymore to save it to disk. So let's try and get that back. And I think then I'm pretty happy with it. No, sorry, I'm not reading chat at all. Let's see. How do you get different folder colors? Right click a folder, set folder color. It's new in 4.2. It's amazing. I love it, it's beautiful. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so this is no longer working. Okay, I think that's the cleanup I wanted to do here. I don't need to keep track of keybind components, thank God. I don't need to keep track of it here. Don't need to keep track of it there. I don't need to print my action anymore. In the settings menu. Where am I printing this whole file? It's pissing me off. No, here actually I do want to print it. Alright, I think that's inputs done for now. I can easily add more keybinds to it when they come along. Is that mouse sensitivity not working? Oh yeah, that's the last thing we gotta fix. Mouse sensitivity. So it is working when you reload the game, So when I load the game now, my mouse sensitivity is insanely high. And then when I set it lower, it's still insanely high until I exit out of the game, load back in, and now it's actually 0, which is also wrong. Shouldn't be 0 ever. Let's fix that first. Settings menu. Min value should be 0.1. Yeah, so that's the lowest it can go. Could probably go a little lower, but I'll fine tune it later. But now I need to be able to reload that sensitivity on runtime, which means I'll need a reference to the player somewhere, which I don't have yet, but we'll definitely need a lot in the future, so let's just set it up. Oh, I do have a reference to the player. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I have, of course, my game manager, which just says get player. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. So in apply settings, we can just go game manager dot player. Well, we could not be in game, so we gotta check first. If game manager dot player. Oh. If game manager dot get player. So if we are in game and there is a player, game manager dot get player mouse sense equals current settings input settings mouse sense. So it shouldn't do anything here. Perfect. But in here, ah, beautiful. I am no longer able to look due to this insane sensitivity. That's what we want. Alright, so I think that's finally menus, settings, loading, saving, complete. I have all the settings that I want right now. Super basic graphic settings, but we'll add more as the game develops more graphics to be settings. Adding audio settings, super basic right now, but they are all being stored to disk and loaded. And so when I build my audio manager, I can just take those volume values and apply it to my bus right here. So it should be a super easy implementation. So I think that's the base plate for this game done. And now I can finally do fun stuff. Oh, thank God. I can't wait to get into actual game development and not just setting up menus and keybinds and storing settings. I feel like I missed something. Was there something so broken? Yeah, the toon shader does look really nice. It's actually in my post-processing effects tutorial. In the link below there, I linked a lot of post-processing effects, including this one. I didn't make it. It's just a normal map edge detection shader. But it works really well for the style. Yeah, this is the minimal team I mentioned in the other video. I have been doing game dev for like 10 years as an amateur, just small projects. I never actually built a bigger game, just a couple game jams. And I was working in Unity for a long time, and I switched to Godot early last year. Salts. Do I have plans to doing tutorials on Godot while working on this project? Yes, but it's hard. Like, I've thought this project out. I made a lot of different gameplay elements in the project so I could make tutorials on it. But it turns out making a game actually takes a lot of time and effort, and doing tutorials next to that is also a lot of time and effort. So I still have to manage those two things, but I definitely do want to keep doing tutorials. I love doing tutorials, especially in my new format where I do like all these infographs and stuff. So much fun to edit and to make. But just too much time working on this and doing tutorials and having a job. All that combined is just too much. So I need to figure it out. I might do devlog tutorial, and only do two videos a month. But yeah, I gotta pad out the content somehow. Like, I've been struggling with this for the whole of last year, like just finding an efficient production flow that doesn't burn me out. But alright, this was the testing stream. I did the keybinds. I did what I was planning to do. I haven't checked viewers during this whole thing, so I'm not sure if it was a successful test. Let me actually check right now if there are people. I don't even have it open. A 100 people? Okay. That's a lot. That's a... Okay, so I will call that a successful test. I should probably structure these streams better. Have something actual visual to do, like making some visual nice models or something. But that's better than I thought. Average of 100 viewers. That's insane. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for still watching. I did not expect that. So I'll probably do streams more often, I hope. I'll plan them out a little better, so it's not just looking at codes and me going and we'll actually have some fun stuff to do. But yeah, thank you for being here so far. The toon shader is in my post-processing effects video. I will stream more. Thank you for the successful test. Yes. Well, this has been fun. I'll do it again. I'll plan it out a little better, and I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Later.